This is part 2 of the Vance vlog that I'm making, telling more stories about my experience with the Walt Disney Company and why I feel like that when Disney fired me, they did it for unfair reasons. Now, I did not intend for this to be a 2-part video, but unfortunately when I was recording the last video, I made a mistake and revealed somebody's name. And that is not something that I want to do in these videos. I do not want to reveal anyone's name, because I'm not interested in ruining anyone's reputation. I'm not interested in ruining anybody's life. My interest is to tell my stories about things that have happened to me in the past so that the whole world can understand how crazy Western civilization has become nowadays because they have adopted woke ideologies. This is basically me trying to give my small contribution to the fight against wokeism, because I believe with all my heart that the only way that we're ever going to defeat wokeism is if conservative voices like myself continue to speak out and say what needs to be said. Tell our stories about how wokeism has destroyed our lives, has made our lives unbearable, pretty much forced us to live in an America that our founding fathers like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson, and John Hancock, they wanted to build a country for us, which is not what I see right now with this wokeism that has unfortunately ingrained itself into the very fabric of American society. And I remember that I said in one of my last vlogs that we have been dealing with all of this wokeism nonsense ever since the days of Barack Obama being president. But I would say, actually, I think the seeds of wokeism had been planted in the soil of America long before Barack Obama ever became president. But I think that when Barack Obama became president, that's when the fruits of wokeism started to flourish. That's when they were starting to be born. And that was when things in our country started to go downhill. I remember when Barack Obama became president, I saw something on Fox News where there was this little children's choir in an elementary school, and they were singing a hymn that was supposed to be dedicated to Jesus, but they took out Jesus' name and replaced Jesus' name with Barack Obama's name. Oh my gosh. And one of the worst things that Barack Obama has ever done as president was he shoved a healthcare bill law down our throats, Obamacare, basically saying that all of us Americans, we are required to get health insurance. Otherwise, we are either going to pay a $90 fine or we're going to spend 90 days in jail. I am more than positive that when our founding fathers fought for this country, that was one thing that they fought against. Such ideas that go against the ideas of freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I don't think I need to say anything more in regards to that. But anyway, I was telling the story about how we had a custodial coordinator in the water parks who we had a lot of issues with. She was abusing her power as a coordinator, so much so that custodial cast members, including myself, we have written witness statements against her saying that she spoke to us in this manner, she treated us in this manner. She is very cruel, she's very mean, she is abusing her power as a coordinator. And the managers, they didn't do anything. All they just did was give her vacation time in the hopes of giving her time off so she can calm down and cool off, so that when she comes back, she can do the job much better without any issues, which is complete bullcrap. All they did was rewarded bad behavior. That's what they did. And I mentioned before in part 1 of this vlog that she took a Toro with one of her friends, went on a joyride, and actually caused some serious damage to the car door on the driver's side of an employee's vehicle. And somehow she still got to keep her job. I mean, when I was in the last few months that I was still working for Disney, I still heard that this woman was still a custodial coordinator. What the heck? Are you guys starting to see the the hypocritical irony in how Disney makes their decisions when it comes to firing somebody? For those of you who did not see part 1 of this vlog, let me make it clear to you. The very first video that I ever uploaded to YouTube where I talked about Disney firing me on trumped up charges, basically they fired me because I posted a stand-up comedy video where I made a couple of jokes about a couple of raunchy topics, and they were so offended by it that they said that we're going to let you go because this violates Disney's policies when it comes to bullying and harassment, which is complete bullcrap because it was not bullying or harassment in the slightest. Maybe in the court of one person's public opinion it was, but when you really use your logic and reasoning to think about what really happened and what I really said in the videos, it's like, no, I did not bully anybody and I did not harass anybody. So it's like you are lying your magical heads off. You really are. So I get fired for a video that I made not while on Disney property, on my own time, because it's labeled as violating Disney's bullying and harassment policies. This Haitian woman who somehow got the job as a custodial coordinator, this woman who has been reported numerous times for abusing her power as a coordinator and taking a Disney-owned vehicle, taking it for a joyride in a backstage area, and destroying a fellow employee's car. And yet, at the end of the day, she still has her job as a custodial coordinator for the water parks. Am I the only one who sees the hypocritical irony in that? Seriously? And for those of you who can't see it, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you are a bunch of brainwashed fools. And it is my hope and prayer that you guys wake up and see the reality of everything, stop listening to all these lies that socialist Democrats and woke ideologues are always preaching to you, because it's nothing more than it's fantasy. It's fantasy that stands on no ground of fact, no ground of reality. Absolutely not. So why is it that I got fired for recording a stand-up comedy video, pretty much exercising my freedom of speech, which is guaranteed by the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment in the United States Constitution, by the way? Why is it that I got fired for something that I did not do on Disney property while I was working, but this woman, while on Disney property, more or less working, causes all of these problems, and yet she still got to keep her job at the end of the day? I'll tell you why. Because I am a white man. And this coordinator, this custodial coordinator from the water parks, she's Haitian. In other words, she's black. Now, I mentioned this before in my last Disney vlog. Not the part 1 of this vlog, but the previous one, where I talk about Disney firing me on trumped up charges, where I talk about how Disney is going in this direction where they are embracing wokeism, even to the point to where they embraced the Black Lives Matter ideologies and these critical race theory ideologies. You see, that's the thing. This woman that I'm talking about, she's a black woman. And if they fire her, then Disney will automatically be labeled racist. Oh, you fired this woman from being a coordinator because you're racist. You're racist against black people. Bull crap. This woman, on more than one occasion, she has proven time and time again that she is not a good custodial cast member and she's not a good custodial coordinator. And that all she does is cause... I'm trying to find the right words to use here. But basically, she is a detriment. She is a detriment to the Disney operations. And yet she still gets to keep her job. I record a video where I perform stand-up comedy on stage, expressing my opinions about certain things in a humorous manner to get the audience to laugh, because that's what comedians do, exercising my First Amendment Bill of Rights right of freedom of speech. Not on Disney time, not while I'm working. And I get fired. You see, I'm trying to get you to understand the hypocrisy of how the Walt Disney Company thinks nowadays. Anyone who thinks that Disney was right to fire me for what they explain as me violating policies against bullying and harassment, when all I did was just do a funny stand-up comedy routine. This woman who, on Disney property, while working for the Walt Disney Company, she takes a Toro out for a joyride and she causes serious damage to someone's vehicle, and time after time, she has had witness statements written against her that she was an abusive coordinator, that she abused her power as a coordinator. And yet she gets to keep her job. And you know why? Because I'm white, she's black. If anyone fires me, it's like, oh, he must have done something stupid. Well, maybe he'll learn his lesson. But if anyone was to fire her, they would have said, oh, you're a freaking racist. And that's why you fired her. It's because you're a freaking racist. You know, I really hope that by telling these stories, I really hope that I'm helping you guys to understand how the Walt Disney Company thinks. That if you guys still think that Disney was right to fire me for their bogus reasons, it's just, I don't know what more to say. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not making this video for all the woke trolls that are on YouTube who are looking for the perfect opportunity to harass me and make fun of me and claim that I am a good-for-nothing Trump-supporting bigot and that I deserve to get fired for what I said on stage or whatever it is that they're going to say about me. You know, I'm not making this video for them because they have dug their heels in to their woke ideologies, and no matter what you say to them, they're not going to change their mind. But I don't care what they have to say. Let them say what they want to say. I mean, I will respond to them every now and then because, like I said before, the only way that we're going to fight against wokeism and win is we got to keep speaking up. We can't be silent. If we remain silent, wokeism is going to win. We don't want wokeism to win. Look at what wokeism has done. I have explained it in at least 3 of these vlog videos that I have made. This 2-part vlog video and the previous vlog that I made where I was explaining that I was fired from Disney and that this was the reason why it happened. We have got to speak up. All of us conservatives. I mean, we can't just leave it to Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. We can't leave it to just them and Tucker Carlson. You know, we can't just leave it to Newt Gingrich. We can't leave it to just these individuals. All of us that are on the battlefield right here in our own neighborhoods as we are listening to all this nonsense, and it's polluting our communities right now. We got to stand up and fight against it. We have got to raise our voices. We can't just let Sean Hannity be the only one speaking on the radio and on television. We can't just let Bill O'Reilly do all the work. We can't just let Newt Gingrich do all the work. We can't just let Tucker Carlson do all the work. We can't just let them do all the work. We got to take up the slack, and we got to let our voices be heard too. That is why I'm making these videos right now, telling my own stories about my own experience working for woke Disney. The more that we tell our stories and the more that we keep taking a stand and saying, enough, no more of this. We're not going to take this anymore. We're tired of all this censorship. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. We're taking a stand. It's time to put an end to the woke movement. The more we do that, the better our chances are of winning this fight against wokeism. So, I'm not making this video for all the woke clowns that are on YouTube right now watching this video. I'm making this for all of you who are on the same side as I am. For those of you who understand that we are in a battle against wokeism, and that if we don't stand firm and fight, we're going to lose our freedom of speech. We're going to lose our freedom of religion. We're going to lose our freedom of the press. We're going to lose our freedom to assemble. We're going to lose our freedom to bear arms. We're going to lose our freedom to remain silent and not say anything if we don't want to say anything. we are going to lose our freedoms to where a cop can come into this house right now and he can live here all he wants because we've lost that freedom. We lost that Third Amendment right. You know, I could go on and on. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing this to get attention. I'm not doing this to make a spectacle of myself. But if that's what I'm doing, all right, fine. But like I said, I'm trying to deliver my own contributions to this fight against wokeism. My voice is just one of many conservative voices that need to be heard so that we can fight against wokeism and so we can put an end to it and we can get back to the way America used to be, when wokeism was nothing more than just a small opinion of a small minority of people. Because if we don't fight against wokeism, you know, these socialist Democrats that are destroying our country because of their woke ideas, look, I'm telling you right now, if we don't take a stand against wokeism and fight against it, the United States of America is going to wind up with a government that is no different than the North Korean government. We're pretty much going to be living in a state no different than the citizens of North Korea are living in right now. That is what is going to happen to us. We're not going to have any rights. We're not going to have anything. And chances are we're going to be eating bugs and sticks and twigs and dirt and stealing people's own feces for financial reasons. You know what I mean? It's like, basically what I'm trying to say is that if we don't fight against wokeism, if we don't take a stand right now and continue to fight against wokeism, we're going to wind up living in a United States of America that has a totalitarian form of government, no different than what North Korea has right now. We're going to be living in a communist country, something that our fathers and our grandfathers and even our great-grandfathers had fought against during the days of World War II, fighting against Nazi Germany, and in the wars during the Cold War when we were fighting against Soviet Russia. We're going to wind up living in a communist country if we don't fight back. And we need to fight back now. I really don't know what else to say in regards to all of this. You know, I really hope and pray that I have been able to shed some light on this topic. I really hope and pray that it is my prayer that for those of you who have ears to listen, please listen to what I'm saying. Even if it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, I have a general idea of what I'm talking about. And you know that what I'm saying is true. What I wanted to say is, our fight against wokeism, we are on the right track by voting for Donald Trump to be our president. Making sure that Donald Trump is in office right now, that is step one in our fight against wokeism. Because Donald Trump right now, he is fighting for us. He's the only politician in Washington, D.C. that is fighting for us right now to make sure that all this woke nonsense does not turn the United States of America into a communist country. But there's more work that needs to be done. And, you know, I was talking about how we can't just leave the job of not being silent and raising our conservative voices. We can't leave that responsibility to conservative voices like Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, Tucker Carlson. We can't just leave it to them. We have to do our part. We've got to speak out ourselves. We got to do more than just go to the polls and vote. We got to do more. And we can't just leave all the responsibility of cleaning up the mess that the